Welcome to the Voices in Hyperspace, where friends get together and talk about all things science fiction. Today we will be talking about Star Trek Starfleet Academy,
Woo!
episodes 1 and 2.
Yes.
I am Mela Silo, captain of the Starship Rebellion and sci-fi author.
I'm Rebel Leader, Legendary Black Lion.
Hey y'all, this is Sunday.
And I'm PJ Raya.
Welcome, PJ. It's so awesome to have another voice in hyperspace, and we really appreciate your attendance. So, let's talk about Starfleet Academy. This was so exciting. We are rewinding back from Discovery to about 120 years post burn. And we have a mother and her son um going through some very difficult times, and Starfleet gets interjected into their lives because they got themselves tangled up with what we might affectionately call a pirate.
Space
Doing
Pirates.
pirate thing.
Space Pirates.
And
The bear
Starfleet like still trying to obtain law and order in a time where there's very scarce resources throughout the galaxy. Once the pirate behaviors have been identified, they are passing a very strict judgment, and that is going to tear this mother and son apart, which is going to continue to unfold episode after episode. This separation is like very instantaneous, and as it's happening, the mother is instructing the son not to trust them as she's being dragged down the hallway screaming and kicking basically. And Starfleet, they attempt to care for and make a ward of the state out of this young gentleman. But he is, in my opinion, a genius. I mean, you can argue with me, but he left his toy in the courtroom. He, acted calm and cool and in need of nurturing while he was in a little room by himself. And then he masterfully requested that his soothing mechanism be returned to him. And when they left him alone, I'm pretty sure he had like pickpocketed a member of Starfleet to use their comm badge to break free. He escapes, and for the next, I think it was 15-ish years, he was on the lam, and he has survived like in a time in the galaxy which it was probably already difficult to do. Like, it'd be hard to survive on your own just outside on Earth. But you gotta be hopscotching around multiple planets, and there's all kind of unsavory people, and nobody has um a wealth of things because a lot of travel and things are been made very difficult because of the effects of the burn. And once we get, 15 years down the line, he's uh, it what looks like a full grown man, but he's still like kind of in those.
Yeah, I looked
Uh,
it up. He's 21 years old.
See, me and
Yeah.
Davion were arguing about whether he was a child or an adult because I think he's the full grown man now. But if we talk to Mel Asylum, he's not 25, so his brain ain't fully developed, and he is just constantly repeating. Yeah, so he's constantly evading the law and, on the warpath trying to find his mother. And he gets into a situation where he is eventually collected by Starfleet again and giving the opportunity to please stop running and come to our academy and we will try to help you find your mother. We'll see how that goes. I don't trust the state. Run, boy, run. This is Sunday. I'm complete.
Yeah, that was a great synopsis. There was a couple of things I want to throw in there. So, what Sunday explained is Caleb's story. Caleb is like our main character, question mark. He's kind of like our point of view character. The Starfleet Academy, though, this is fun because this is kind of a continuation of what happened on Discovery. After Starfleet got reestablished or like reconnected, they were like, yeah, we're gonna do another Starfleet Academy. So they have to start essentially from scratch. Starfleet is kind of starting over, Starfleet Academy is starting over. So we're watching a whole new generation of Starfleet. We don't have hundreds of years of history of to go off on. This is like the folks 800 years in the future, post burn. No, 800 years in the future after Discovery disappeared. But yeah, we got a lot of really cool stuff happening here. Before I jump in, I'm totally open to whatever folks want to share.
I think the quote that the admiral said, he said, "These kids are inheriting a broken world they did not create, but have to clean up." I thought that kind of summed up the entire season. I think
Yeah.
so far.
Yeah, because the conditions that we're walking into, Starfleet is kind of a shell of itself. When Discovery jumped to the future, like 800 years in the future, Starfleet was a smaller organization, and Earth wasn't even part of it. Earth, Vulcan, and I can't remember the other parts, the other plant, the other species that weren't part of it. So it was fractured. Most of the galaxy was in the middle of rivalries with the different pirate groups. So that's why the Venari Rawl are important. That's Paul Giamatti's pirate group. uh, there, yeah.
I believe the Federation was hiding, weren't they? Hiding behind shields or something when Discovery got there?
Yeah, they were hiding behind like cloak and shields, and they were keeping themselves like
Yeah, so they were
secret.
pretty scared. Yeah, they were scared of the pirates at that time.
And it's interesting to hear about the Venari Rawl because it's like, okay, that makes sense to have more than one pirate faction, because I think the other one was the Green Chain or whatever. Remember the pirate
Orion?
Yeah, the
The Orion
Orions.
Syndicate?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it was all of that. All right. So while our point of view character is Caleb. Caleb, I think, is a pretty awesome character. He starts off as 6 years old, and we get to see his childhood trauma happen to him in front of his eyes. But also, you got to think, how long were they on the run with the pirates? Because bro knew how to break out of a secure cell, a Starfleet cell, with what, just a Starfleet badge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It was
At 6 years old.
like they had been surviving out in the blip for a while. Like the blip had been a while now.
Yeah.
And she's like in that opening, she's explaining to him, well, we have to deal with this guy because this is the only way we're going to be able to eat.
Yeah.
And I felt that because I've spent so much time with kids in areas that aren't privileged, and those kids have to survive, and those kids are living with parents who are trying to survive. And there's so much about this show that just kind of pulled at my heartstrings and made me remember my time in education.
So BJ was talking
It
about the Admiral
makes me
Charles.
think about
Oh, sorry.
like before we go there, love, it made me think about pandemic babies, because I'm pretty sure
Yes.
he was born directly into the burn. And so the experience that pre-pandemic children experience versus the post-pandemic children, you can kind of just put them side by side and kind of tell the difference. And that's the experience that Caleb is living. You're not going to have a 6-year-old able to do the things that he's able to do because of, the conditions that he was raised under.
Yeah.
What I was thinking was more of a like post 9/11 world.
Ooh. That's a
where like there were kids that are out of high school and becoming adults now that don't know a world before you had to take your shoes off in the airport.
yeah. That's a good point. Yeah, the burn can double. It can double as multiple like um milestone storytelling points, especially in the world we live in now. 9/11 is very appropriate. The pandemic is very appropriate, which is interesting because I don't think. I, when did Discovery? When did that season of Discovery come out? That came out during the pandemic.
It I binged it during the pandemic.
Yeah, I think. Yeah.
I binged season 1 through 3 during the pandemic. And to add to that, I also taught children before and after the pandemic.
Mm.
Very small children. I had preschool. So yeah, we saw a difference.
Yes.
We
Yeah.
did.
So, PJ was talking about Admiral. Darn it, Admiral Vance.
Vance.
Admiral Vance. First of all, amazing character, great actor. That is Oded Fair. Brings such
was
distinguished.
introduced to Discovery.
I'm sorry.
He was introduced in Discovery when they got to the future when they finally met.
Yes. Yep. He brings like so much gravitas to like that position, the Admiralty. And the character he's talking to, Nala Ake. Okay, can we talk about Nala for a bit? So Nala is Holly Hunter, who is the voice of Elastigirl from The Incredibles, and that voice is so unmistakable. It's wonderful to me. And there's a couple of things that stand out if you pay attention to what's going on in the show. Remember when she goes to grab adult, quote unquote, adult Caleb, grown up Caleb out of the prison colony, and he stands up and he's angry at her. First off, that great scene. But he is towering over her. And I'm like, is he that big? And I'm like, there's no way that little kid is that big. And so I looked it up. Holly Hunter is 5'2".
What?
Yes, she's
Okay. My height. Okay.
yes. And Caleb, I'm sorry, go ahead.
He towers over everyone. That's the first thing I noticed when I saw him as an adult is he is towering over everyone.
Yes, he's towering over everyone. Except for the Klingon. I think him and the Klingon are almost the same height. But yeah, he's a giant dude. He's in the 6 foot range, but Holly is 5'2", and she's an itty bitty person. And I thought it was great. I was rewatching the show and I saw the way that he stood up. He's trying to use intimidation tactics against her. He's not going to hurt her. And she knows that. But also, she's not intimidated. She's just like, yeah, I'm 400 years old. You're not showing me anything impressive. And I thought that was a great visual because she does not back down at all. I think he does that to her 2 or 3 times in the show.
Yeah.
Can I ask? So, her character is Lanthanite, which was introduced in Strange New Worlds last season.
Mhm.
Was a character I never knew existed until then. But he specifically says or Vance specifically says, you're part Lanthanite. So does that mean she will eventually die? This is an interesting thing that I hope they explain later on.
Yeah,
And she's older than 400 years because she was in current time. And when Kirk and Khan's great granddaughter went back in time.
yeah. No, well, the character from Strange New Worlds, yes. Yeah.
Yeah, that was Palia. It's a different character. But she's saying,
Okay. Never mind.
Yeah. But but
same race.
yeah.
Okay.
And so we see something a little interesting because Nala, she saw what the Federation was when it was its most influential, and she saw it diminish when the burn happened. And there's a couple of things that I was interested in. They first introduced her as the basically issuing out the judgment saying like um the the space pirate dude, he's going to prison for life or whatever because he killed a Starfleet officer, and Caleb and his mom, because it was because they murdered a Starfleet, what is it, Starfleet pilot. It's
Office.
yeah, it's like felony murder. So it's like, yeah, we gotta send her to prison, and you are becoming a ward. She comes across as being a disciplinarian. She's very just about the rules. She doesn't seem. She seems more detached than like many of the Starfleet captains that we've seen before. But then they switch that around real quick because when Vance comes to her, she's at a party and she's basically snitching on two kids who stole ice cream, right?
I think it's school. She's a teacher in that school,
Yeah,
and it just happened to be like ice cream day or something. It was an ice cream party.
yeah, yeah. And the way when she talks to them though, she says, "If you confess, then you can negotiate your terms." And I was just like, she's still on that like disciplinarian kick. I mean, she's all about the rules, and this is definitely, I think this is like a Starfleet thing. Like, we've seen this throughout all the Trek. Got to be about the rules, got to be about the regulations, but she's like trying to find a way to find leniency for those people. But to me, it came across like, man, she's still a disciplinarian, and I wonder if it has, if it is a Starfleet thing for her, or is it like her species? Is it just her personality? I wonder, because she does take that role with Caleb, but then she gives him a lot of leniency. Which the reason why she does. Oh, go ahead.
No, the reason why she does what?
The reason why she does is because she feels guilty for taking Caleb away from his mom.
Yeah.
Because judicial systems are trash. And it's one of the first notes that I had made when we were watching the show. Like, how in the world is the best decision that you guys are making right now is separating them in this way? Y'all don't have any other way to attempt to keep these two together, because they acknowledged that she didn't know that he was a pirate. So she clearly didn't do this, willfully or intentfully. And the circumstances that people are in this day and time, I can't imagine how anybody's, finding a way to eat without, you know, stealing from one another.
Yeah.
Like, they really didn't set up the landscape to help us understand if there were better ways out of things. But from my understanding of being in oppressive systems, which is not the same as what she's going through, but hers is a equally difficult situation, there just aren't options. And for people who are in a more privileged position are always harshly judging um poorer people, saying, well, why didn't you just get a job, and why didn't you do things the right way, why didn't you choose all these other options, when they fail to realize like the lack of options that people in a lower class actually have, but then they're still holding them to this super high standard.
And that's where, like you were saying, the regulations come through, because the galaxy is having this situation where they're fighting pirates. There's lack of resources because we don't have warp drive.
Right.
Warp
Yeah.
drive is how we get resources to places. So her job is probably so taxing that she's just like, this is what we do for that. This is what we do for that. So you killed this Starfleet officer. This is the consequence. Okay. Like, just going through the motions of just doing the job and not actually considering all of the consequences, or not having time to. Because if the entire galaxy is in chaos, you're not going to think past all the other little consequences. Or maybe she thought that, and this is also very realistic, him being a ward of the Starfleet would have been a better option than him running off. Like, he ran off. It would have been a better option for him to be with his mother, for him to give his mother the resources, but she's going through, you kill somebody, you still have to go to jail. or maybe because she was willing to kill someone, that maybe she's not a great mom. And you don't learn that. And so you know the kid. Like so I know working in
Yeah.
education, like there was some kids we knew don't tell their parents that we would deal with discipline ourselves. We wouldn't tell the parents like your kid is bad at school. Like like they had an okay day because we knew that they would go home and get beaten. Like we knew that that was probably a good consequence that would happen to them. So we would handle discipline to ourselves and not tell the parents. And you can't in a situation like the blip, you don't know what these parents are up to. Like your parent is up to killing somebody. And that's all the information you got. Maybe that person is a good parent. If she didn't have enough information, she felt bad about it after because she got to sit and see how much her son loved and depended on his mother. She didn't know that before. She
Yeah.
just knew your mother is willing to kill.
Yeah. So this sets up our story. And so we convince Nala, she's going to be the chancellor of Starfleet Academy. She sees it as her opportunity to like redeem herself. Like, I ruined this kid's life. I can help other kids, but also maybe let me help this kid whose life I ruined. Um, so she cuts a deal with him. Like, you join Starfleet Academy. I help you find your mom. You get out of jail. Yada yada yada. Um, and so we get to Starfleet Academy. Some wild stuff happens.
This ship is amazing. I like the design. It's not like any of the other ships, but it has like little parts. It's got the classic nacelles, like an Enterprise style ship, but then it has that that disc, kind of like Discovery's. It's got the the inner workings and the outer workings. It was really beautiful to see it when they showed it for the first time. USS Athena. is what it's
Athena.
called.
Yeah. I like the wings and how the ship itself looks like the comm badges for Starfleet Academy. Because if you look at the comm badges of the students, they're the shape of the ship. They're the shape of the ship.
I didn't even notice that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were beautiful. I was very inspired by the feather wing star expert, like a combination of the feathers and the star. That was so cool.
And so we get to meet a lot of everything. And the thing that I was extremely excited for, because I during my teen years, I watched Voyager, the Doctor. He's checking in all of the students. And
Oh my God, I was so excited to see the Doctor from the Voyager because that's where Sunday Star Trekkery and me becoming a Trekkie originally started was, a female captain. We've got was that when we had the interracial being connection between Tuvix and, having to make an impossible decision to kill off like a whole like sentient being in order to have two of your core crew members returned. Oh my God, that was just so great. And to have a piece of that interjected into this most recent content, oh, I'm just in love.
I will say I loved seeing him again, but the thing that was kind of strange was his interaction with the character Sam. And it seemed like he was reluctant to talk to her, to even talk to her.
I can see that, but I want to see a few more episodes. I think there may be a story developing there. Part of it is if you watch the Doctor's development as a character, he was not a good he was very coarse. He was kind of a jerk. Actually, okay, that's what I want to say about this Star Trek. If you want to enjoy it even more, imagine every main character is just the biggest jerk in the galaxy, and then they all have to deal with each other. To me, that's hilarious. That's good comedy. But with the Doctor himself, I think they had and I'm blanking right now. The Doctor and Sam had a brief interaction because Sam is a Koskian who is a holographic person, and I can't remember if they're like a holographic species, like a photonic species, but yeah, they did have a little bit.
I think, yeah, I think she explains that they're a holographic species created by other holographic species, similar
And
to the androids from Picard.
Yeah.
and they're having or she's experiencing an issue of basically going through puberty and seeking advice from what to her would be kind of like um hopefully a mentor. And he,
Mm.
from my take on what I saw, he doesn't really feel like that's the role that he should be playing. And it's gonna be a challenge for her seeking this mentor figure and him trying to do what he has been coded to do, right? But we all know that they're going to develop his character and then he's going to be a wonderful mentor one day, just not today.
One of these days.
I
But
kind of felt like this projecting on his experience because she did show a lot of the characteristics that he did before he started exploring his sentience. And he's just he hears that and he just shuts down. And I'm like, you're projecting, dude. Um because he's gotten to go past that and he hasn't had to go back. And she's pulling him back.
can we
And she's
can we
like,
can,
oh,
can we take a moment and appreciate Karis Brooks as Sam and appreciate how adorable she is? Oh my god. Um would anybody I wrote this down in my notes, and I want to have like a more informed perspective on it. But would anybody say that she's autistic coded?
no, I saw myself in her so much. She's like, I don't know how to talk to people, and I feel invisible. And then also with the other girl being like, you're just sucking the energy out of the room, even though she's bringing so much energy. And it's like, y'all are projecting on her like a lot of people do with us, that like we have all these characteristics that everybody else wants, but when we come with it naturally, y'all are just like, "Ugh."
Yeah.
Well, not y'all, but neurotypicals who get annoyed with autistic people who have the characteristics that they want. That's how they act. And I saw myself in her so much. And she's like, every Star Trek has that character who's not quite that's not human, but trying to be human. And with Voyager, we had the Doctor, and now we have Sam.
Yep.
And,
I like. Okay, so we get introduced to like a lot of the characters and the different species. We have Holly Hunter as the Chancellor. We have Caleb Mir, our main character. Oh,
And we're
Jaden
talking
Crad, the
about
Klingon.
Vulcan, who, well, not the Vulcan, but yes, the Klingon, who is not a warmonger. Like, hello,
Yeah.
we got a Klingon with feelings and compassion and empathy. Oh, I was so excited. But to have the direct reflection in the is she the security officer or what is her position?
He's number one.
Yeah, she's number one.
number one.
Okay, so thank you. For her to be number one and she's coming with like the full vigor of what their culture is about, and it's coming in direct conflict with this, clearly intelligent and probably very strong, but he is coming in a sense of, what is that word?
Gentleness.
It's when you're really strong but you're meek. There we go. Is that the right word?
Yeah.
No.
Maybe. But no, I get what you're saying. But so the Klingon thing, I think is interesting because a lot of the critics were like, a Klingon that talks about his feelings. I'm like, y'all literally never pay attention to Klingons, because in Deep Space Nine, they talk about the Klingon doctors and scientists who the Klingon Empire kind of frowns upon, the species, like the society frowns upon, but they are there because here's a question. How are they spacefaring? How do they have advanced medical technology if they don't have people who are dedicated to it?
Cloaking devices.
Yeah.
Like y'all have spaceships, y'all have warp, you have teleporters, you have cloaking devices. Somebody made that. Y'all didn't make that with a bad lift.
Yeah.
Well,
I
I
can
think
see.
what I am going to challenge that Davion is saying is not that they didn't have scientists that were, able to come up with the technologies to give them warp drive and all the things, but you got holistic doctors like Dr. Sabi out here actually trying to heal and save people. And then you got these doctors who came up with Bear, who were doing scientific testings on women and children and people with no anesthesia just to see, how long they could sustain off of a little bit of tree bark. Like,
No, but what I'm
those are
saying,
totally different.
yeah, it is different because
But
what with
for
the critics, they say that it doesn't exist, but they have always existed in Star Trek lore, and now we're getting to see a little bit more of that.
well, and I think what so I can see the society where it's like go to war and if you die, you die, but you die a victorious death, glory in battle type of thing. And then having doctors that are like, oh well, you don't want to fix your wounds because then all that's like not it it doesn't exist anymore. It negates the whole going to battle and going to a glorious death. And it's like, well, the doctor just fixed it, so you have to go back and do it again. So that's I think
Yeah.
what they're looking at is like that's why doctors in the Klingon Empire are looked at negatively, but the scientists I don't know why they would discredit the science of advancing their culture.
Well, in Deep Space Nine, they spend a lot of time explaining this in Deep Space Nine. It was the Klingon scientists that cloned Kahless and brought forth like they kind of caused a civil war.
Oh yeah, I remember
they
that.
kind of caused a civil war. Um, but yeah, it's one of those things. But also, like the Klingon Empire was in decay for a couple centuries. When they ran into the when they ran into the Federation, that's when they went to war, and that's when Federation was like, "Come on now, we can't do this forever." The Klingons like, "Yeah, you're a new enemy," and Starfleet is like, "What if we weren't an enemy?" All right, real quick because I want to get us through this episode so we can jump into the second one, which is beta test. Yeah. By the way, this episode is called "Kids These Days." I love it. I love it. What were you gonna say, Mel? What were you gonna say?
One of the coolest things about Deep Space Nine that gets reflected a whole lot in this show is that even though species have their culture and have their standards for different people, doesn't mean it's realistic. We see that very much with Nog. He is in a cult. He's shunned in his culture. He's seen as an idiot when he's a brilliant
Engineer.
engineer.
Yeah, he's
Like
fantastic.
he's he's awesome at
Yeah.
what he's good at, but in his society, that's no good. We don't like that. You need to be basically a narcissistic businessman
Mm-hmm.
in order to be seen as an intelligent, successful person in your society. Oh, and in contrast, we have Worf, who is he's a warrior, but at the same time, he's very composed in contrast to the other Klingons. The other Klingons are loud and rowdy and ready, and he's just like he's acting a little
Quiet
more like
strength.
a Vulcan than
Yeah.
yeah. He's very composed. It's natural. It's I don't know if it's natural for him or just a response from living with humans and having to restrain himself, but um, it still just shows that just because you come from this culture and you understand this culture doesn't mean it's necessarily right for you. It's
And
like being a blur.
and I think that's a good point because again, I've been dealing with critics about Starfleet Academy, and the thing is, Star Trek started out with all of the different alien species being kind of like a monoculture species, but then they would change throughout the years to where it's like, where did that come from? That's not a Klingon. Where did that come from? That's not a Trill. And then when you learn, like, actually, these planets have billions
Oh.
of people on them, and they're kind of like all over. So we only get to see a little bit.
Let's talk about the most controversial character in the show, Laura Thawk.
Lord Thought,
Laura Thawk is her name.
yes. First of all,
She's the first officer.
I absolutely love.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, no, you got it. You got it. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, she's half Cleon, half Jem'Hadar, both major characters in DS9, and she has like the Cleon warrior status, and she has both the Jem'Hadar like warmongering like genes going through her veins, and it's really interesting to see her like very rough and rigid character.
Yeah. And what's wild about it, again, she's one of the characters that a lot of criticism come on because they're like, how did the Jem'Hadar procreate? How did they not be hooked on drugs? All of this. And
Yeah.
I heard the actress even say it because it's really, if you spend 10 seconds thinking about it, because this is a fictional show. uh, if you think about it, her name is Gina Yashir, and first of all, her personality is amazing.
Yeah.
She's like, it's been 800 years since the Dominion War. Things changed. That's literally it.
Evolution.
Yeah.
Yeah, that explains a lot. That explains the Klingon, the half Jem'Hadar Klingon, and I like to add for some reason that the actress playing her is British by way of Nigeria, and I've seen a lot of people talk about Nigerian moms,
Ooh,
and I don't think she needed to act to be this character. Like she.
oh yeah. Oh yeah. No, I agree with you. I agree with you. Yeah, she's just being herself in makeup. Yeah. So we got all the characters. There's some notable cameos. We got to see X-Comps, those little robot thingies flying around.
Yes.
If anybody watched Lower Decks Peanut Hamper, which I hated that thing, by the way. She was
Peanut
a
Hamper.
complete jerk. She was a complete jerk. She wanted anyway. There was the Bricar, that is Rock from Prodigy. Of course, we saw an Orion. We saw, I forgot the name of the species where they're half black and half white on each side.
Oh wait, I looked that up. I wanted to talk about that because that's another controversial character because
yeah,
both remaining members of that species were male,
right.
but
Right.
somehow they evolved them back.
Yeah.
But they were called a Chenin.
Okay, yeah. And I'm gonna tell you the truth. Since this ain't Star Wars, I don't care. I don't care because
I like to think. Oh, go ahead.
no, go ahead. I want to hear what you got to say.
I like to think that like the ones that were like locked in fighting and war and destroying each other, probably wasn't aware of or didn't think about like there's other people who's not trying to fight each other like we are and just escape somewhere, and
Yeah.
maybe 900 years in the future, they saw that it was safer to come back.
That happens all the time. We find tribes
I-
all around the world that people thought were extinct. It's like, no, they've been thriving. They just been staying away from y'all.
It adds to that individuality that they're trying to impose on the different species. Another part. Wait, that's next episode.
Yeah.
Whatever. But that's like such a huge theme in here. Each species, even though we know their culture, and those of us who are fans understand the stereotypes of the different cultures. Even in especially Deep Space Nine, we start to see the individuality of the people in contrast to what the culture is. And this is like emphasizing it even more because uh, it goes along with educating. Like you may be from this situation, you may be from these parents, but if you have potential in something, we should be nurturing that.
Yeah. So let's
Yeah.
let's kind of wrap up this episode. Kids these days, what happens is they get all the students, they like do all the fun stuff, inject them. I like how they took Caleb. He was like, I'm not getting a haircut, and literally him going through the transporter, cut his hair, put him in a uniform. Everything he said he wasn't going to do, boom, it's fine, bro.
Right
You got
away.
it. But so the ship, the Athena, takes off from Starfleet Central or wherever it is, and they're going to San Francisco on Earth. And on their way, they encounter the aliens, not the aliens. They encountered the they encountered the pirates. The pirates infect the ship with a type of programmable
Well,
matter. Um,
specifically,
Well,
Caleb sends out a message to his mom, and they
yes,
intercept it, and that's how they find him. So he's kind of responsible for what
yes.
happens at the end of this
and
episode.
I want to address that because we have his mom telling him, don't trust them when he's a child. Now it's been this long time, and now they've asked him to come and they're giving him, like, we're going to help you. You scratch our back, we'll scratch yours, right? And when he says, hey, I don't want to do this and this and this, and they're like, cool, then we're not going to make you do any of those things. And then the very first thing that happens is they breach the agreement that they made and they take his consent away from him. That pissed me off. And I know that that happened after the pirates attacked, and he had to, because he was trying to still use whatever means necessary to get his objective obtained. It does not like absolve Starfleet Academy from, you're the adult here and you should be setting the example. But I don't think that they're ever actually always going to tell the truth. They're going to manipulate situations to their benefit, and they've, been doing that from the beginning. And I have a distrust in systems and structures like these, and it just
I'm
is
a
an underlying theme.
I'm all for a different look because Caleb had an agreement and he's getting special treatment. He did consent to all the stuff to be in Starfleet Academy. But his role is to be the rebellious youth. And so
Didn't he say that he agreed to a haircut?
when he said, I'm going to Starfleet
Uh,
Academy.
well, he agreed to be in Starfleet.
Yep.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's a part of being in Starfleet Academy.
Yep.
Yeah, he did not. He also broke the rules. He was not. She was supposed to help him find his mom, but they needed to get to Starfleet first, and he goes hacking everything he can get his hands on,
Yeah.
which is an
Because
offense.
you don't trust them, and he shouldn't. Because when you say you have to join Starfleet Academy, and I tell you that I'm not cutting my hair, then that needs to be a conversation that is had. And I believe that that conversation had not been had, that you guys are assuming that he agreed by way of just saying that he would go to Starfleet. Because when he walked through that screen and then his hair was gone, he looked shocked and surprised by it.
That is true.
He's also a kid.
He's
He's also
yeah. There's, I think,
yeah.
because
And now we're about to go back to that. When he's 21, he is not a child. He is not that gullible to think that he don't understand that.
But
a lot of
like
this comes
also,
out. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
he hasn't gotten the experience that he needs in order to understand um how not to be a child. He's a child who's had to survive on his own. He needs to learn that order, and that was a big thing about this episode. You being smart doesn't mean that you know how to be smart with other people. He has no idea how to work with other people. And yeah, the haircut thing is a very the visual aspect of that. You need to comply to a certain way. I felt like the rules that they were implying on him were very necessary for Starfleet survival in a situation that will prepare him for what he's looking for. Because you can't go into the Badlands, you can't go into the pirate areas, you can't go into the unknown without backup, without a team, with and you have done that, but you for 15 years been trying to do that and without a whole lot of success outside of just being alive. And there's more to just surviving. So sometimes we have to force our babies to do things that they don't want to do in order to teach them to use the abilities that they do have. And it's hard. It is hard. I hate it sometimes. But like sometimes you gotta let a baby cry until they figure out that I can play with this toy without smacking somebody else in the face with it.
Also,
Now,
you have to
one thing
remember
that's
something real quick too.
good
You have to remember something too. That portion was played up as for comedy, for humor.
Yeah.
He's trying to have like this, and it becomes a little bit more important in the next episode too. But he's trying to play up this bad boy independent status. I know everything. And every time he's doing that, something happens to completely pull the rug from under his feet. And his confidence is shaken up because it's like, I can't project this image of me being this tough, rugged individual every time that I'm in Starfleet. It happens again in the second episode, and it's pretty funny too. I wanted
and this makes sense to me, love, but I want to push back again because it's so problematic that we continue to allow um, systems to force their will onto us when he clearly is going to have trust issues, and we know that he does not have um all kinds of, proper stewardship throughout his life. And so instead of treating him more like an adult than like a child, we're going to continue to try to force this whole man who just fought off like 6 guards and took over a little ship, and now we just gonna think that we can manipulate him into doing what we want, and he's not going to continue to buck the system and make this difficult, as opposed to like being straight up with him. And if he has a demand and is like, hey, I'm not cutting my hair, instead of lying to him and being like, okay, but then cutting it anyway, see if you can give him something to earn his trust, and then in return, he might be willing to comply. And it's not until several episodes later that that starts to unfold, but we would not have got knocked out of warp or whatever happened to them if they were building a line of trust in this way. And I know it's such a super superficial thing to have your hair cut off, but there are some archetypes of hair where that growth is not going to come back that fast. There are different positions throughout your like officership where you having your hair might be necessary, like putting him in a position where he might need to look all scruffy and stuff, but they don't. It's just like you have to look like this so that they can break that free spirit that he has that would allow him to hack into that system. They don't want that. They want to be able to control him and tell him, do this right now without him thinking, because there's going to be a circumstance where you need to follow a chain of command. But that creativity and the free will that he needs to have survived all this fucking time is innately valuable. And
I have to push back
cultivate that as
because
well.
Starfleet is military.
Well,
Yeah.
well, look at it this way. They did that to him,
Okay.
but Crag went through the same machine, and they didn't cut his hair. They didn't cut his hair at all. They just pulled it back.
True. That's a good point.
They did.
Um,
Also, like when
I was gonna say we should definitely start to move towards the second episode because I do think the second episode is a much short. Well, it has less weight to lift. You know what I mean?
And we could argue about this all night. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so basically what did they what is the name of that alien? um the Venari Rawl, they pick up Caleb's signal, they infect the ship, they're about to like steal the warp core, and then all the students jump into action and they all do their different things to one, it's kind of like their specialty because the Klingon, he's helping the Jem'Hadar, um the half Klingon, half Jem'Hadar cadet master. She got stabbed in the torso and she's all like, she's actually pretty awesome. She's like, don't let me like die a weak death, you know. And so he helps fix her. They all fix the ship. They send the guy who ends up becoming Caleb's rival. He ends up doing like a what is it, EVA walk.
Darren?
Is that his name?
Darren? I
Dane.
think his name is Darren.
Karim Dane. No. I'll remember which one it is later. I think you're right.
I wrote down Darren, so I think it's Darren.
Yeah, I think you're right. I thought it was just weird that that would be a special ability, but you know, it's cool. They got to work with it.
I think the weird thing about him that I find interesting is so his face turns blue.
Yeah.
But why is he masked as like a human being, and then he's embarrassed? He makes her turn around when he turns into his I'm assuming his natural face.
Yeah.
And he's kind of embarrassed.
It was giving Mystique the same way that he wasn't accepted. And a lot of the other alien species, they are not so far off looking human as he is.
Yeah.
And it kind of makes sense about he's a bully, you know?
Yeah, that's
because he's kind of yeah.
he's
really concerned about the virtue, the blip. Like maybe because his culture is because he keeps saying, I'm this, I'm this, I'm this. Like maybe they're intimidating to other people, so he hides himself so that he's not intimidated going into a very earth human because humans are pretty squishy. So then should and he's like, I'm gonna warn you that I am this, but I don't want to like just automatically come off as a threat.
Yeah. Also, like him being the
Specifically says, I'm Croner.
yeah, he's the rival, he's the bully, and he's kind of a jock, you know. And so they're kind of like setting up that type of dynamic too, like you know, college age kids, quote unquote kids. They're picking these stereotypical roles in each other's lives, but then they're also Starfleet. And so they're all smart. They're all engineers. They're all mathematicians. They know what they're doing. And so they end up pulling together. They, with the Admiral's help, with the Chancellor's help, they fight off the pirates, blow up the pirate ship, and they're about to capture Giamatti's character, News Baraka, but then he escapes on like a life.
I love the way he was
tube. Yeah, yeah. It makes him menacing.
Yes, it also reminded me of the Wormtail's escape in Prisoner of Azkaban, where he's just like waving and turns into the rat again.
Yeah.
One of the dynamics between the cadets that I loved was how the Klingon, he doesn't give normal ready to fight violence Klingon. And so he wasn't standing up for himself. But when what is his name?
Caleb. Mm-hmm.
Caleb went to stand up for him, and then he was about to take on more than one opponent. The Klingon was like, hey, I won't stand up for myself, but I'm definitely not about to let you fight by yourself. I love that part because I have a lot of that in me too.
He looked a little excited too. He's like, "Oh, we about to fight now, okay." And his comment was, "A warrior doesn't allow a friend to fight alone." So he still has that warrior in him. He's just prioritizing his study into
Yes.
science. And he even says to the cadet master that he wants to earn a value in life. Oh, I like how she switched that word on him. She goes, I thought you wanted to burn in life. He goes, no, that's not what I said.
Same thing. Same.
So the ship makes it all the way back to Earth. Then it comes apart, and the center saucer lands in the place of Starfleet Academy. It becomes it becomes part of a larger
It
structure.
was
I'm sorry.
a building. Yeah.
Yeah.
It turns into a building, and
Yes.
I thought that was really neat. That's why I really love this ship.
Yes. And we get this nice rendition of My Heart in San Francisco, and we kind of get this idea like, okay, our characters overcame a really dangerous
Oh.
obstacle, and
Wait,
oh, go for it.
can we quickly talk about the character of Genesis? I think out of the core, she's part of the core group, and we
Yeah.
didn't really talk about her
Yeah.
too much, but she's an interesting character.
Tell me about it, because I wanted to jump in on her on the next episode, but
Okay,
my
briefly
perspective.
then.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, briefly. I think she was really interesting to see how she introduced herself to Sam right away, joked around with her, but instantly became her friend. And then
Yeah.
she keeps going back to saying, "Oh, my dad's in Starfleet. My dad's in Starfleet." And then she says he's an admiral. So it's really going to be interesting to see who her father ends up being.
Yeah.
And she also helps the jock, right? Because he was volunteering to go outside to
Yeah.
handle the little things that were eating up the ship, but they were not able to go outside without a professor with them. But the guy, he can go outside without the EV suit. And when he went out there, he was struggling. So she was an integral part of making sure that he survived, right?
Yeah.
Based off of this first episode, I
Mhm.
think it seems like there's a love triangle forming only based off of the first episode. Because, of course, when we get in the second one, it kind of changes.
Yeah, it can act as a pilot to give you hints of storylines that can be told. They don't have to tell them all at the same time, but you can look like, in the future this is going to be a problem, y'all.
Yeah. Like it's a Genesis, Darren, and Caleb kind of
Yeah.
thing.
And then they put Caleb in the quarters of Darren at first. Yeah,
And then, well, I think that's the second.
that's the second episode.
That's the second episode.
Okay. All right. Well, let's
Genesis, right? While the kids are not with the teachers, we still have a voice of what the rules are because she grew up with it. She knows she's not
Ooh.
learning it.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's jump into episode 2, because they dropped these both at the same time, and I'm gonna tell you, I loved it, and I just like binged it. So episode 2 is pretty cool, and the big overarching challenge is Beta Z is going to be visiting the Academy, and the reason why is Admiral Vance and the higher ups at Starfleet want to re-enlist Beta Z into the Federation. Beta Z is kind of an isolationist planet now. They have a giant sonic wall that keeps them in and people out, and their whole thing is like, we don't know if we can trust y'all. We're doing just fine all by ourselves. We had all these pirates kind of trying to attack us. We're good.
Okay, Australia.
And so the Beta.
So, I want to say,
right.
at the beginning, I thought they were just shielding the planet, but later on, we find out it seems like they're shielding an entire system of planets
Yes,
Yeah.
in the Beta Z region.
which is pretty wild, right? Like, you got technology to block out a whole section of space. Wow. That's up there. That's pretty
which is
advanced.
very which is very contrast to a culture that we are used to being very open. They have a very open culture, and we find them 800 years in the future just being
Naked weddings and all.
All right, speaking of the Betazoids, we saw something interesting in this episode. So this episode again is called Beta Test. What we saw with the Betazoids was very interesting. The what's her name? Her name is Tarima Sadal. She was the daughter of the president. She's wearing this little device.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, say what you're gonna say.
Oh, I was gonna say that, by the way, he's deaf. And
Yes.
you
The president, yeah.
yes, the sign language. Let's go.
Yeah.
Is it ALS?
That's
Maybe.
Americans to be using.
I was not.
I think they use American Sign Language because Americans.
That's what I was
But-
wondering.
Yeah, I've seen on Facebook where someone who is deaf that uses American Sign Language really appreciate it and like seeing them use their language.
Mhm.
But joke that is beta set sign language.
What
But-
then? So that brings
Probably did.
Um,
Federation uses it.
the actor actually is deaf.
Yes.
The actor that plays Ahmed Sadal is actually deaf.
yes. Now there's something interesting with that because Tarima is wearing a device that inhibits her ability to use telepathy. Because remember, the Betazoids they're telepaths, but their type of telepathy is empathic. And she said
Yes.
her abilities are dangerous. Now, is it that they're dangerous to her or to other people? Because in the next generation,
I think she's dangerous to other people.
yeah,
I don't think they made it clear. Yeah, it's.
I don't think they made it clear.
People, you might be a danger to yourself too.
because in the next generation, there was a species that used telepathy as a form of like violent, as a violation of a person's autonomy and stuff like bodily autonomy. You know what I mean? I'm trying. I'm not using the word.
In one of the movies.
So we just did 5 seasons of Babylon 5 where that was an issue the whole time.
Yeah.
Oh wow. It happened in one of the films where they tried to use Counselor Troy, and she felt she was like it was a violation. And it seemed like it was correlating with rape almost to her mind.
Yeah.
And she read it really well on her face too. It was like so uncomfortable. But then she turned it around and used it against them later on in the movie.
Yeah. So it makes
the
me.
The Vulcans are somewhat telepathic. And we see with T'Pol in Enterprise, she gets kind of violated
Yeah.
by one of the Vulcans that have a different interpretation of controlling emotion.
Yeah. So it makes me
Everything.
think about like that's one of those threads that they are going to be able to develop down the road. What was great about it? What is great about her introduction? We got to back up a little bit because we see that Chancellor Nala, she is walking around Starfleet Academy barefoot. She's not in uniform. She's a hippie lady.
I love this. I love this so much.
Yeah.
I love the way she sits in her chair, by the way.
Yes.
It was in the last episode, but I love the way she like lays in her chair nonchalantly.
I like the joke about her chair too, because like I said, Holly Hunter is 5'2". She sits in the chair and they're like comfort setting ready. And she's like lowering it to where it's perfect. And I'm like, yep, they addressed it. They needed to address it so it can just be done. But but also I want that chair.
Oh yeah.
And
The computer said to it. Right.
yeah. All right. So who was the Starfleet guy that was trying to get on to her about being barefoot? I forgot his name.
This was very interesting too. Let me see if I can find his name. His he is the chancellor of the
Oh, the
War
War College.
College,
Yeah.
and they keep
Oh.
hammering up Kelrick. Commander Kelrick was his name, and they keep hammering in this name, War College.
Yeah.
I was just like, why did they have to call it War College? Why didn't they call it the Military Academy? Because War College just sounds so rough and so negative.
Well, I
Maybe
mean,
they did that for
yeah, maybe they did that for a reason
well,
because, you know, our wonderful country decided to take the Department of Defense and call it the Department of War. So maybe
Yes.
Starfleet went through the same phase.
mm,
Or maybe
Well,
they're
they have a military college, like they're already the military. I look at the war college as like maybe the people who most likely are going to end up in Section 31.
I kind of had that vibe too.
Which, I mean, again, another thread that can develop. He seems extremely uptight and just
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean? And he's a foil for the chancellor. I think that's great. What I also think was great was their conversation. They were basically where she was praising how the Betazoid children were the ones. Excuse me, where the Betazoid children were the one who were encouraging the talks to see if they can get them back into Starfleet, and she was praising their activism. And I'm like, yeah, the activism of the youth is gonna lead this future, and I thought that was pretty great.
mm.
Yeah,
Oh, sorry. What I love about the chancellor, like being herself with the chair and the shoes and all that stuff, it, she keeps showing her age, and I feel like a lot of people, like my favorite old people, are the ones that don't care and are
yes.
joyful with their nonchalance. So I'm like, I want to be that. I am working towards that. I'm the youngest here, and I feel like I'm not into an age, but it's like, why should I care? Like, why do I need to fit into so many different whatever and care about other people? I'm not hurting y'all. My hair's purple. No.
Right. I liked how we got a little bit more of development with Sam. Sam realized that people were treating her differently. Because first of all, it's Tig Notaro's character. Jet Reno, she's like, you, the one who looks like you are desperately waiting for someone to call on you. I thought that was great. And she answered it greatly. You know, her hands is up and she's ready. And first of all, I like how they wrote Jet Reno in this episode.
Yes.
She's a Discovery alumni, and that means she is about not 1,000 years, about 900 years old. You know, since the time jump, but she recognizes
too. That's
yes, yep. She recognizes like what she's looking at. These are people that need to like learn a thing or two, and she's cool with it. She is so cool with it. And when she addresses Caleb, this is where I'm talking about. This is what I'm saying. Like Caleb wants to present this image of, I know what I'm doing. I got this. I know everything. And she just humbles him immediately. She's like, okay, I got it. You can do all this stuff. Just tell me one thing. What's the name of that cadet's name? And bro cannot at all do it. Then
actually, I had to look that up because I don't think they ever speak that cadet's name.
no, they don't.
And I had looked it up. It's Cadet Pickford.
Yeah, I saw
And nobody even says it.
Sorry.
No, they don't.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry.
What I was gonna say, as they were dismissing, first of all, this is my one other gripe about the show. the class bell is basically the Star Trek theme, and I don't know if I like that. I mean, it's cool, but at the same time, come on, y'all. But as Caleb is leaving, I'm sorry. What were you gonna say?
Brought up a good point when we talked on Saturday. Caleb is kind of showing some ADHD.
Oh,
If I should probably break it more when they have the assembly. Oh my God, I was having flashbacks.
where he's like just screwing around on that wall, leaning on it and like kicking his legs.
And the zipper and the zipper
Yep,
and
the
the
zipper.
the doctor.
Oh, the zipper.
No, that was a normal part of my routine. Damn it.
Yep.
And put his hands down. Put them down.
Yep.
Like, oh, that was a saying in our classroom.
Put it down.
And put him.
Oh, stop it. Stop
You know,
moving.
I taught preschool. Oh yeah.
Oh.
Too much. Like I'm like,
Also,
there are
you
pieces
mentioned-
on. Oh,
Sorry.
there,
You mentioned the bell.
Oh, go ahead. I got.
You mentioned the bell, but also there's a voice that comes on
Yeah.
that occasionally gives instructions,
Mm-hmm.
and I looked it up. It is the voice of Stephen Colbert,
Stephen Colbert.
who does the voice announcements at the school.
Yeah.
I was like, really? They pulled out the big guns, or just a simple role as the announcement?
You know what though?
Nice.
You know what though? If anybody can become the sound, like the voice of Star Trek, one of the computers, you're kind of like set for life. Major Barrett as the
Yeah.
voice of the Enterprise did an amazing job, and to this day, computers need to sound like her. I'm sorry, y'all need to figure it out. Forget all that other stuff. AI needs to sound like Major Barrett. And so if Colbert has a great voice, so if Colbert can like establish that like iconic an iconic voice with it, great.
I think
yeah.
the first episode had a really good line where he was like, "Please stop fire the cafeteria, because if not, you might be your biggest your biggest adversary is hangry or something like."
Oh yeah, that's right.
I totally butchered that quote, but it's something like that. I was like,
yeah, if you listen to all the announcements, they're pretty funny. Because remember, after the delegates and the Betazoids took a break, and they're like, "Stop by our cafe and have a complimentary coffee on us," and it was something weird.
"Oh, and we carry Rakachino now."
Yeah. Which both of those are past Star Trek references,
Yeah.
Voyager and
Yeah.
Deep Space Nine, because Janeway was all about. Yep, it's a Klingon coffee, and Cisco couldn't live without it, and Janeway was ready to murder people for her coffee. So, the part I wanted to talk about, there's two parts that happen here to kind of like humble Caleb. One was after that encounter with Jet Reno, he tries to leave because the bell goes off and he bumps into that cadet and she spills the mucus all over him. One of the auto doctors pops up from an alarm, sprays him down. So he's just getting like, he got sprayed with mucus and now he's getting sprayed with like whatever the stuff is. And so he's covered in white and green, and it just completely deflates whatever like persona he was trying to have. The other part I thought was hilarious because that's when he is in Nala's office. He's like complaining about how he's not going to be rooming with the other guy and how he's going to do this and he's going to do that. He grabs the apple out of her fruit tray and she's looking at him like, the look on her face is like, okay. And he bites it. He's like, and he spits it out. He's like, that's not an apple. And she's like, yeah, it's one of those. I forgot what the planet was, but she's like, yeah, it's a fire fruit. And he goes, why? She goes, yeah, hundreds of years ago, I burned off every nerve in my mouth. So that means she needed some spicy stuff because, you know, she's been around a little bit. Which also makes
I'm dying.
Oh, go ahead.
I am dying because I've had this exact experience in my classroom. Like I work with mostly special needs kids, and a lot of my kids are autistic, and a lot of them love chips. And I would have my jalapeno chips or whatever. I love spicy chips. And my kids, they would be like reaching in my bag and trying to get my chips. And I'm like, no, you have your chips. And one of them got into my bag with my chips and took a bite and started chewing and spit it right out. It was freaking. I see serious. And especially the ones who like they were super smart. Caleb, there was every class I've ever been in, even as a substitute in middle school, no matter where I went, there was that one really smart kid who had no home training, who thought they were going to get over on you. That's
Caleb.
what Caleb is. This is why I empathize with the boundaries that they're putting on him, because like this is what you have to. They don't understand boundaries, so they can't do the right thing with that intelligence. Like they are capable of doing many things, but if you don't work with our team and with our rules, you're gonna have. And some things are worth. You gotta pick your battle. Some things are going to be. That's teachers are gonna know that phrase. You gotta pick your battle. Some things you're going to have to fight your kid with. Like Sunday mentioned the hair thing. We empathize with the fact that's crossing a boundary, but they have to understand that their boundaries aren't always as important as the goal, as the people around you. And hair is less of a consequence than other people's lives.
I think
And like when you show them, yes, I do have authority too.
didn't Vance say something like that, or was it Nala? When they were talking about like Starfleet Academy is about
They
being open to the people that are around you.
they both did. It was like a theme through the whole
Yeah.
episode. That like
No, the biggest thing, the biggest theme in this episode is the making the bed thing.
Okay. So I got a little bit of a thing on that. So on one hand, I'm cool with Starfleet because it's still a military arm of the Federation. And yeah, make your bed. But come on now, you ain't gotta sound like JP on the episode. And I'm not crediting him because he didn't come up with that. It is something that that people who are like personal improvement coaches and life coaches is like, yeah, do one small thing, make your bed. But because it was connected to JP, it's just like it's now like it's lost its actual value because he's a Nazi. And and so that was a big discussion that a lot of people online were having. Like she's quoting Jordan Peterson. I'm like, no, she's not. He's quoting people who are better at articulating what he's trying to do. Actual life skills. But
yeah. And so like for my class, and it would be like putting your backpack and coat in the cubby. And like I had to pull teachers aside. I mean, not teachers, parents aside. Yeah, I think like let them do it. It's such an insignificant thing. Like my kids were like when I started, they were 2 to 4, 2 to 5. It's like parents want to come in and put their stuff in their cubbies and stuff. And it's like that. It's such a small little thing that someone else can do for them. It's a small little thing that if they didn't do it, like we would eventually find a book bag in the coat, whatever. But it's a part of them learning that routine. Like, okay, I never made the bed. I know that like it can cause bacteria to build up during the day because there's no light coming in or whatever. But for him to like get started with doing that, it's like, yes, there are routines. I need to get accustomed to doing routines. And also, again, like you said, he may be ADHD coded, and that routine is very important for someone who's neurodivergent because some things need to get done. If you have something that you're doing consistently, it can give you some type of comfort for doing all the other crazy stuff that happens.
Yeah. So what do y'all think about
Go ahead.
I was gonna ask, what did y'all think about the way that the Betazoid negotiations were being handled?
This is
That's
where I
interesting.
was really about to like tap into because I think it was in the second episode when Caleb went off the rails again and almost ruined everything with, him finding out information about what was going on behind the wall, and then it kind of broke down the negotiations by the president's daughter thinking that she was being manipulated when Caleb and this girl were really developing a connection, and they talked about how it was due to their trauma and all, and neither of them have the skills to find a way for them to have communicated that well so that they could have been bonding um and then learning to trust one another, but they were, leaning into their trauma and then running away from each other. But what triggered me to think about this was when Caleb and the captain, or the head professor, whatever her title is, she eventually gave him something like, look, I'm clearly not going to get you to stop hacking in the systems to try to find your mom. And they negotiated him having an hour of approved time to go on the search and try to do this. And it's like, those are the little graces that I had the expectation that they give this, what I'm identifying as a fully grown man. And he's been out on his own and wild. He's like a wild animal that y'all were trying to pull and and then force into confinement and have this straight haircut and zip your, jacket up to the top and make up your bed and these things that he knows. I've been living on my own for the longest and I ain't never made up a bed, and it has not like been a life or death situation. So get the fuck out of here with making in my bed in the morning. Can we deal with like what's actually important? I'm trying to find my fucking mama. And if they're like, hey, we're going to give you an hour every day of, the top level clearance to do the searching, but in exchange, I need you to X, Y, and Z. And see how fast you get his compliance if you give him a little bit of what he wants instead of these fluffed up promises and then, pulling the, wool over his head and trying to still force him into doing shit. I'm complete.
No, but that's how we have a show.
I think the
Sorry, go ahead.
sure.
I
I
I
think
kind
I think
oh, go ahead.
oh, I think the miscommunication between Caleb and what's her name, the
Nala.
Zoid princess.
Oh yeah.
Not
Not her name is
the
yeah, I know what you yeah, I'm sorry.
Talia. I want to say
Tar-
Talia, but I think I'm wrong.
Tarima.
Tarima. Uh, the, the Caleb and Tarima. I think that is kind of like the classic adolescent. Like, no, I was really falling for you. I really liked you, but at the beginning, yes, I was trying to get information to help, and I was trying to. I was kind of trying to manipulate it, but I was still falling for you type of thing. And that whole like, well, we saw it from our perspective, but they're not seeing it from each other's perspective. So you have to give them some kind of, leeway on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that shows a lot of how young he is. Like
Yes.
21 is still
Yes.
a baby. Oh, college is still a baby. Oh, especially when it comes to dealing with other people. He doesn't know. It was giving the I don't like sand.
Oh my god.
Like, I don't know how to deal with other people.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I also like to bring up the tiny little fact that the Betazoid princess has the same title as Roxana. She's
She's
the fourth, blah blah
Yes.
blah 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 whatever.
yeah. Oh, but Loatsana is the fourth house, and Tamarina is
She's
the
okay.
first house. She's the first house. But yeah, it,
Oh, okay.
yeah, it's very
They have the same title or something.
yeah, they're both like extremely important important positions in their houses. I don't understand
Mhm.
the Betazoid hierarchy. Um I'm not that kind of a fan, so there's gonna be people out there who do know that stuff.
I always assumed that the hierarchy was female and have president be a man was interesting.
Yeah, that's a good
Yeah,
point.
because yeah, they are. The females.
That's why they ended up with a wall because they let a man run them. That is just a dab. I don't mean that. Strike that from the record.
No, I'm keeping that in there
It
because think about it. All of
Hey,
his,
what?
all of his objections, all of his objections were, "Now we need to keep the wall up, or if we pull down the wall, we need you to give us everything." You know what I mean? He was being completely unreasonable, and harsh, and they were just like, "What is wrong with you, bro?" Like,
Mhm. Hit their not monarchy, but
matriarch.
their system when it comes to the matriarchy reminds me of ancient, well, not ancient, well, West Africa before colonization. There are still some tribes that do it, but the family line is passed through the queen mother. And the logic behind that is that a mother always knows who their child is. And we see that with Europe. Like there are wars fought over, or not necessarily wars, but people fight over like, is that actually your kid? You're gonna say that your king, and like people are showing up like, I slept with the king or I slept with the prince. This is their kid. Like we don't have any proof. We only have proof that the child came out of you. We don't know who you slept with. But when the child is coming from, when the line is coming through the mother, it doesn't matter who the mom slept with. We know where the kid came from.
Yep.
Like if we pass line
Yeah.
out mother.
Yep.
So that's what they do.
So this episode wraps up with everybody finally coming to their senses and agreeing with each other, except Caleb and his rival. I can't Darum. Caleb and his rival.
Well,
They're still having kind of like their thing going on, which is fine.
but
But this is interesting. Okay, I want to address this real quick
Okay.
because you see the character. Let me see what his name is. Okam Sadal.
Uh-huh.
He is the brother of the princess. Or
Yeah, yeah. And they're hanging out, right?
He shows up at the end hanging out with Darren, and they're like, we did not get any development on this guy at all, except a brief conversation with his sister, and now all of a sudden he's part of the gang. I'm like, where did this come from?
What are you
Hopefully
talking
we
about?
get more of a character.
What are you talking about? He's a bro. That's all the story you need. He's a bro.
Just a bro.
Like, I really like
Now
that they
I
did
feel
not
really
make
bad for Caleb.
I really like how they did not make him the overprotective brother, but I see that you like this boy. Go get your man. He's more like
That was
his
yeah.
sister's friend instead of his sister's protector,
Yeah.
because that is so played out. You trying to stop this girl from being free to, seek the, whatever pleasures or desire or love interest that she's into. Oh, it was all the tea for me.
also he could be supportive, but at the same time protecting, which is how he ended up being his roommate. Like I'm gonna look at
Yeah.
that's his whole.
That's a good point. Isn't
And
it?
then also like the youth have been fighting to like branch out to get out of their little shield, and so like as soon as we're out of the shield, let's go join Starfleet. I'm here.
I just thought of something that's I just thought of something that's really dumb. Uh, so the president, the actor's really deaf and they're using sign language. Could that kind of be a joke on Anson Mount, who is Captain Pike? Because he also played Black Bolt in Multiverse of Madness, who is also deaf and used sign language. Am I reaching here? Is this too much of a reach? Am I the only comic book fan that might have? Am I the only comic book fan that might have been like, hey, that might be about anyway? Yeah. Now I can accept it. If I'm reaching,
There's a lot. I think you're kind of freaking, but there are a lot of throwbacks. There are a lot of Star Trek throwbacks in both episodes.
Oh,
Like one we didn't talk about was that the whales was a huge
the
throwback to
whales.
Star Trek 4.
Yep.
Yeah.
Then there was the wall of all the characters. How Kim became an ambassador.
That
Uh-huh.
All and the names of some of the areas,
Yeah.
like the and Kirk had their own like pavilions or whatever
Yes.
on campus.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Yep. It was
Was it what's his name? I can't remember his name from Deep Space Nine. He was on I saw on Facebook that he's on the wall. The Cardassian. Dr.
Garrick.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna have to go back and look.
Someone noticed that Garrett's name was on there, like honorary.
Why would they put the name
Which
of a
also
simple
adds
tailor
that
on the
whole-
wall?
Which also
Ooh,
adds to
nuts.
the whole, like, just because you came from that culture doesn't mean that that's just what you are. Like, he was a benefit to the Federation. He helped
Murder
bring those
people.
forces together
He-
But, yeah.
he-
in some little way.
yeah. They were killing a lot of people in Deep Space Nine. So
Oh
yeah, it's okay.
I was gonna also note that there are a lot of mixed breed creatures or characters
Yes.
on the show. Like not only in Starfleet, but even the main villain that they've kind of created this season. He's half Tellarite and half Klingon.
Wow.
So I thought that was really interesting to see the evolution of that.
That's interesting. Now, Tellarites
Powerful.
often
Was tall.
Tellarites haven't spent a lot of time on screen, but the times that they have, I think Prodigy did the best at explaining the Tellarites, which they are an extremely contrarian and stubborn species. So having someone like Giamatti like be the actor that he is as as half Tellarite and half Klingon, I think that's great because it takes everything and just turns it up to like 13 and lets him do his thing.
Mm.
So we get the end of the episode where Betazoid is like, yes, we shall return and become part of Starfleet, which is cool because the big thing in Discovery was getting the Vulcans back. And so we're getting some familiar faces back into Starfleet and into the Federation. Fantastic. But that means there's still obstacles ahead of them because they're like, we still have Starfleet Academy. You have to teach these kids, but we also still have to build up the Federation. Some things that I found interesting because I looked up the cast. There is a character. I don't think she's been introduced yet. Maybe she has and I missed it. But there's a character called Lieutenant Ya. She's played by a person that I think is extremely interesting. She's played by professional wrestler and former multi-time women's champion Becky Lynch. I think is she British? She's British. And I'm like,
I don't
really? Y'all pulling out y'all got Robert Picardo in here, Tig Notaro, Paul Giamatti.
Is she the one with the skin, the like what color is that? Like magenta colored skin?
I don't know. I'm gonna have to go back and look because it's
Is that was a unique character?
let me take a look.
know.
But I find it is extremely interesting that they've because I forgot that she was in the show. I completely forgot about it. But I think it's great that they're getting people from all over like entertainment to be part of Star Trek. That's funny.
In the first episode, the mom is played by Tatiana
Maslany, yes.
Maslany.
Maslany, yeah.
She was She-Hulk.
She was She-Hulk. And Tatiana is a fantastic actress. She's funny. I don't have her. I'm trying to see if I can find her on.
I just heard today.
Oh, okay. Let's see her. So no, Lieutenant Ya is a human. But I don't remember seeing her. I don't
Bridge crew is undershown, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. So maybe she appeared and they just like got her on screen one time. I don't know, but I'm gonna keep a lookout
I think the main focus. I think the main focus is the students, but the bridge crew is obviously going to be part of the series.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. All right.
Um,
So we
I
got.
thought beta.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Say it again.
Well, also because it has been 800, 900 years, I guess that's an excuse. And the Klingon looks different from the Klingons. The Klingons are always changing, but the Beta Zeds typically had those black pupils. Well,
Yeah.
not black pupils, but black irises, and now they have different color eyes. Like, okay, which made total sense to me for them to have the black, the full black, because their pupils would probably be bigger because they're probably taking in more information from other people, which is biologically how they're able to be empaths.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they evolved. I guess they don't need that anymore.
You know what?
So like in Ancient World, I noticed that they had that one half Betazoid, and Diana's eyes always kind of stood out to me, and then her mom's eyes. But then I also seen her mom in other things like Babylon 5 and
Yeah.
Earth Final Conflict, and I'm like, her eyes aren't really like that. They're wearing contacts for some reason.
Yeah.
Only at Star Trek. So I'm like, yeah.
I like that explanation too, but nobody has ever explained how telepathy works ever. So I guess I'm okay with them not, but I'm also I've written some notes for a story I want to tell in the future about how telepathy works for the telepaths I'll be writing about. But I'm not gonna say it because I don't want anybody to steal my idea. I think I have a relatively unique approach. I don't know. We'll see. But
Yeah. I just going by how the brain works, how any brain works, even animal brains, and how sensory works. Like you have to combine those two things in order to be a telepath.
mm-hmm.
So biologically, you would have to have a sensory that would be able to perceive the neural net of someone else's brain in some form or way.
Yeah. All right.
And I
So
think through the eyes would be a great way to do that. I don't know. It's one way to do it.
I like what you're thinking. I like the way you're thinking.
Because we're already getting wavelengths. So why not get the wavelengths of energy that is in the form of
Brainwaves.
flesh.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, the brain waves are the energy, but it's also like hidden inside of a network of cells.
Yeah.
Which is the
So
weird part. But okay.
So we covered a whole lot and we kind of rushed through 2 episodes, kinda. But we did it. Now that we have these 2 under our belt, what do you hope for or expect to see in future episodes?
Well, I would hope that they start working with Caleb to find his mom instead of him having to like rebel himself through the process and almost get all his friends and, you know, co-students, whatever they're called, cadets killed in the process. Um, I see a lot of like, because we didn't talk about how his mom was like the information was discovered that his mom made it out of some kind of prison situation and she is on
Yeah, she
one
broke
of the
out.
planets or planetoids behind the wall behind the Betazoid.
Oh, yes, yeah.
But we don't know whether she's been trying to contact her son or not, which I think is going to be another thread that gets explored, which, troubles me on how, like, when parents are separated from children for a various of reasons, it seems to be like one is trying to find the other and the other is not. Um, and I hope that that's not what's about to happen to this boy, but that's just a really, really deep topic to be exploring. Because there's a lot of that out there, people not knowing where their biological fill in the blank is and trying to fill this void and all of the damage that relationships suffer from because of that particular trauma that they may be trying to fill that space of.
I thought it was interesting that she brought up the forgot what her title is, kind of like the dean of the school. Um, she had visited the mom. Yeah, she had visited the mom in the prison and told him like your mom had a brilliant brain too. Maybe she never mentioned him and she doesn't know that he's not in a better place in the Federation. Because she could have lied to them. She could have lied to him about she could know so much about the Federation. It was like, oh, we don't get the benefits of the Federation because of our situation, but then he's going into that and in her panic told them don't fully trust them thinking that he's going to be clothed and fed and sheltered by these people because they're warding him. And then after a while of being in the prison and getting to know her, probably thought he's in a better place. I can't do that for him. And some parents do feel shame for not being able to do what other people can do for their child. And that can keep people from talking to their children when they're taken from them as well.
I think
Also, me and Nita from the Sci-Fi Queens have been joking about how hot some of these characters are, and I told her that I have to remind myself that like Caleb's character is not much older than my child, and I cannot be seeing him as as hot. Like I have to be like, yeah, my son's gonna be that hot when he gets because he is very handsome. My son is very handsome. He's gonna be that handsome. I need to put myself in the position of the parent who just happens to be the parent of a child who's very hot.
Well, that's okay because I'll do this for you. Sunday is not an ageist out here. If you was old enough to get into the club, you can get it. He is fine as fuck boy, and so is that black Klingon with the dreads. Woof, Lord, yes.
They're young enough to be my child. If I had a child at 21, he that's how old my kid would be. So I have to
Ma'am, I'm over you. I said what I said.
I have a 5-year range up and below. So you know
Same.
that.
Same with me.
I don't. I have a. Are you legal to drink and smoke?
Yeah, I taught kids his age.
Um,
Put it that way.
what I
No,
look forward
I
to
can mess with
what I look forward to is more exploration of some of the different types of species and a little bit of what the galaxy looks like outside of Starfleet. I feel like um I feel like in all of Star Trek, we've only seen Starfleet. And that's cool, but we don't get much after that. I feel like the best that we got was in the Next Generation. We had a couple of those pirates and what were they? They were like traders. And then we had Cassidy Yates, who is absolutely gorgeous in Deep Space Nine. Other than that, I don't know how people in the Federation behave outside of Starfleet. And that would be really interesting to see a little bit of. Give the students something else to navigate outside of the military, you know?
Mhm.
I would like to see the relationship between Commodore Aki and Caleb, because I know we didn't mention it, but in the end of the second episode, she reveals to him that she had a son.
Oh.
And so I wonder how that's going to conflict with their relationship, because he did specifically tell her, I'm not him. So try not to treat me like that. So she's going to be fighting that whole, um, I know, I'm sorry, you're not my son. And he's also going to be fighting you're not the replacement for my mom. I need to find my mom.
That's
So
a
that's going to be
wonderful
really interesting to see there.
that's a wonderful thread to point out, because I feel like even in episode 1, she's trying to make up for what she did, and she does come across not being like motherly, but she does have like this quality of like, I need you to forgive me type of sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah. That's 2 episodes down, and we got what, 6 more happening in the future. Is this the 8 episode season? Yes. And so we'll be coming together to cover all of these. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I think also what would be fun from time to time is us mentioning some of the haters and some of the just nonsensical arguments they have against it. My view is I'm the same with Star Wars. Star Wars is not for me. I point out the ridiculous stuff and I blame it not on anything other than the universe has a lot of really cool ideas. We just need good writers to get you from A to B. Star Trek has been there, has done that. I feel like they're on the good path. I think we are getting good stories. We got great actors. You know, it'll be fun just to kind of make fun of some of the haters out there too. But with that, I think we should go ahead and get on up out of here. um I guess I'll do the regular sign off. Thank y'all for joining us for this edition of Voices in Hyperspace. You can join us on our TikTok, our Instagram, our Facebook, and here on YouTube. All of that at Voices in Hyperspace. Leave your comments in the chat. Continue the conversation. I'm Legendary Black Lion. You can find me at TikTok and Instagram at Legendary Black Lion.
I'm Mel Asylum. You can find me at mailsrebellion.com, where you can find my book, Unrooting the System. And you can also find me on TikTok and YouTube.
Hey, y'all. This is Sunday. You can find me at a poker table.
Hey, this is PJ Raya. You can find me out there. I'm all over.
Awesome. Again, thank y'all for hanging out with us. Until next time, we'll see you out there. Peace.